Hey there, quick thing before we dive in. If you are a coach, a creative, or a storyteller who wants to show up like your fave self, either online, on stage, or even just on Insta stories, I created something just for you you're going to absolutely love. It is called Voice and Vibes, and it's a 90-minute one-on-one power session with me to help you feel more like yourself whenever and wherever you speak. These are just cozy conversations between you and I. We're going to get clear on your message, help you align your energy, and get you showing up in a way that feels right and feels like you. So if you're going to be prepping for a post or maybe a big client pitch or a full-blown presentation, we're going to get your words flowing and get your confidence really, really grounded. I've got the link for you in the show notes if you'd like to go ahead and book your session. Okay, let's get into today's episode. Hey there, and welcome back to the Fave Self CEO Podcast. I'm so glad you're here. If you have been following along, then you know that September is hands down the busiest month of the entire year for me. I mean, we've got coffee cups piling up. You know, my backseat looks like a freaking change room. My laptop pretty much living in my purse. And I've actually spent more on gas in the last 2 weeks than I did all summer. Like, I am everywhere. I am running to all of the places. I'm emceeing events. The NHL season kicks off this month. And if you don't know, I am one of the in-game hosts for the Winnipeg Jets. I've got my coaching clients who I love. I've got my volunteer work that I really enjoy doing. And then of course there's like all the behind the scenes stuff that comes with it, right? I'm writing blogs, I'm recording podcasts, I'm creating content. So around here, over the last 3 years of running my own company, I lovingly call it September the Gauntlet. And today I wanted to talk about what it looks like to get through it without totally burning out. Because even in the busiest seasons of life, which are totally unavoidable, whether or not you're an entrepreneur, your well-being matters. And there's going to be times in our life when it is full throttle. We are doing the most things, and we're going to be way more successful. And it's my experience and my belief that we're going to get through it in a lot more of a healthy, more enjoyable way when we are looking after ourselves. So when life gets this full, my suggestion is to just go day by day and give yourself what you need and what's best for your well-being. Because in these seasons, like, every single day can look different. They're packed, they're unpredictable, they're sometimes, and well, actually often, overwhelming. And like, there are days where I feel absolutely fulfilled and excited and grateful, always grateful, but exhausted, like, all at once. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I really don't. I mean, July, I pretty much did nothing, let me tell you. Like, June was busy for me. I moved. July, August, I didn't really do too much of anything. So to me, full doesn't mean bad at all. Full means I have to be intentional. So if you're in a busy season as well, or maybe you've got a busy season coming up, the holidays are always really busy for a lot of us. Here are some tips I'm going to be sharing with you that you can just take with you to be intentional and, again, take care of your well-being. Because the thing is, like, every single thing on my calendar, on your calendar, on anybody's calendar is there because we said yes, right? We agreed to it, or we decided not to say no. We decided not to change, what we're doing. Everything is on our calendar because of us. Like, nobody's sitting us down, forcing us to put stuff in our calendar. Our responsibilities are there because of the decisions we are making in our lives. So knowing that, I have really had to practice saying no. And honestly, like, it feels really good sometimes. Like, saying no feels so good. It's become a massive form of self-love for me. So if you're looking at your calendar and you're feeling super overwhelmed, maybe that's a place to start, Just practice saying no to the things that aren't aligned with the season of life you're in, with the things that you just feel like you're going along with because somebody asked you, but you don't really want to do it and there's no real benefit for you. I'm not saying don't do things if they only benefit you. No, that's not how I live my life, obviously. But to get through the gauntlet, you have to be very intentional, and you have to treat yourself like you're the most precious thing, right? To me, like, my brain, my creativity, my knowledge, my voice, that's literally my work. Like, that's my bread and butter. And I don't take that lightly anymore. And this is a season that I learned the hard way. If you've been listening and following along, way earlier this year, I think it was sometime in the springtime, maybe April, I said yes to too much. I was doing too many events. I think I hosted like 7 hockey games in 11 days between the NHL and the AHL. And if you've ever been at a live sporting event, the host is doing a lot of yelling. There's a lot of let's get loud and who needs a t-shirt. And I had strained my voice so badly that I actually couldn't speak for 3 full days. And it took about a solid month for me to get my voice back to have any sort of depth and any sort of power to it. And as someone who makes a living with her voice, like that was freaking terrifying. And it was just like a massive wake up call. Like I'm never doing that to myself again. Like absolutely not. So now I have some non-negotiables. They're pretty simple, but they make the difference, all the difference between me burning out and me making it through the gauntlet that is September. So here are the tips that I want to start sharing with you. The first thing, movement. Every single morning, for the most part, bar a massive thunderstorm because my dog is a sissy. He's very scared of thunder and lightning. But other than that, every single morning, I am out there moving my body. I take a walk with the dog. It's nothing fancy. I just get outside. I'm breathing in the fresh air. I'm moving. It clears my head and it keeps me grounded. And I'm truly in the moment with Todd. Like we're walking, I'm smelling that fresh fall air this time of year. You know, I'm listening to my runners and his paws crunch the gravel. I am looking at all the changing colors. I'm laughing at his wiggle butt. Like if you're a pity owner, like, you know, the wiggle butt they got going on. I don't listen to anything. I'm not listening to a podcast. I'm not listening to music. I'm not doing any sort of walking meditation. Definitely not scrolling on my phone. I am in there in the moment, and that is so, so grounding. And the other thing that kind of ties into this is really focusing on nervous system resets. Speaking and public speaking and putting yourself out there in front of a crowd, it can still be intimidating no matter how long you've been doing this. Yes, I've been a professional speaker for over 20 years now, but there are still some moments and there are still even some clients where I feel the pressure to really, knock it out of the park. And that stress can live in your body, like the adrenaline. You're constantly performing in front of other people. You're opening yourself up to be judged. So I really put the focus on doing something each day for as little as 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes it's journaling. Often it's journaling. I tap almost every single day, like EFT tapping. Sometimes often I'll do a meditation as well. And I don't do all of them every single day, especially during the gauntlet, but I do something. And even a couple of minutes helps me to reset, especially when everything around me is so busy. So in a normal, let's say routine, I would do something like that in the morning after my walk while I'm waiting for my coffee to brew. But this is often something throughout the gauntlet I find myself doing in the afternoon to kind of ground myself when honestly, the afternoon is when things just start spiraling a little bit crazily. All right. The next thing is fuel. And this one is huge. And I feel like I should give I'm going to give a bit of a trigger warning because I am going to talk about food and restricting food. So you may have to turn it off if you are a little bit sensitive to that. But it's nothing too big or nothing too scary, but I just used to skip meals. I used to tell myself I was either too busy and this is the part that I'm a little bit mortified by, and I would never, ever want anybody to do this. And I feel sad for my past self that I would do this. If I had a big event in the evening, I wouldn't eat because I wouldn't want to look fat or bloated in my gala dress or my outfit. And that hurts. And it hurts to say it. When I look back at those days, it really guts me, but I'm not doing that anymore. I do not skip meals anymore at all. I eat real food, like whole food throughout the day. I stay really well hydrated, and it makes me feel alive, sharper, smarter, more vibrant. And the biggest thing that I just want to not grab the old me and shake me, but grab the old me and hug me. You don't have to rely on coffee alone. That is such bullshit. I eat all day long, and I will eat a couple hours before an event. Ugh, and I'm getting a little emotional about this. I don't look any different than when I would just live off of coffee and energy drinks. No difference whatsoever. I still have the same skill set. I still have the same talent. My voice is still my voice. My body is still my body, and I look great. The difference is I feel great now by taking in food. So fuel your body for what you want to do. It is huge. Oh, it is so huge. The next thing, sleep, obviously. None of these are really groundbreaking, but these are things that I really have to put as my priorities this month. I get at least 8 hours. I honestly usually get like 9. I sleep a lot, but I also think like my brain works a lot. So she needs her sleep, or should I? I have to sleep. I used to stay awake all the time, super late at night working. I always get this like blast of energy at 7. Nowadays, I'm either doing an event at 7 or I will take Todd for another walk around 7. But my CEO move these days is logging off early and going to bed, like not burning myself out at midnight. It is so worth it. Sleep, the foundation of everything, right? And then another big piece of, grounding myself and being intentional is just finding these small pockets of time. For months like September, March is really busy for me too. Not as busy as September, but March is Women's History Month. So I do a lot of speaking and coaching and a lot of appearances and volunteering during March. But in September especially, and sometimes March, I don't get a full day off. Like not one full day. And I definitely, if I do, I don't get 2 full days in a row. So what I do instead is I find 20 minutes here and there, and that's enough. Like I'm no longer waiting for like these big breaks, right? Like when I was in my corporate job, my TV and radio job, you'd wait for the weekend because you got this big break. Now I make the most of these small little breaks. Sometimes I take a nap. Today is Friday. Today's Friday. On Monday, I took a nap in the afternoon. Loved it. 20 minutes. Felt great. Got up, finished whatever I was working on. Felt good. Sometimes I read a chapter of a book. Sometimes I just sit outside with Todd. Like I've got this swinging egg chair on the back porch. I just sit out there and literally look at the fields, or watch him. He's being cute. Or just watch the clouds go by. Just 20 minutes. It just leaves me feeling so refreshed. And then the other side of that is being really careful about what drains your energy. I don't have a lot of time, and I don't have extra time or energy to be spending on things that make me feel like garbage. So that's less scrolling, less comparing, just less junk, that leaves me feeling worse. So I'm not looking on the explore page or for you page or whatever it's called, looking at all these, gorgeous Pinterest perfect farmhouses, wishing, that I had a yard landscaped like that, or looking at a girl on her book tour thinking, oh, I wish I was a New York Times bestseller. No, I'm not doing that. I'm also not eating junk food. I'm not doing the things that are going to make me feel worse. I'm really, really aware of where I'm putting my energy. So that's pretty much the tips I have for you. The biggest tip is taking care of your well-being. It matters so, so much. And again, none of these are groundbreaking, but I think it's important to point them out because when you're busy, you have a squajillion freaking things on your mind. You may not think about the simple foundational things that you need. Getting some movement in, taking care of your nervous system, right? Fueling, eating really well, eating whole foods, getting enough sleep, finding pockets of time to take these little breaks to take care of yourself, and then avoiding the things that drain your energy. Very simple, very easy. Well, I shouldn't say simple. The concepts are simple. Putting your focus and energy and effort into those things may take a little while. So as always, with any piece of advice I give you, my biggest advice, other than to be yourself and have fun, is always to be gentle with yourself. And don't be hard on yourself whatsoever, especially if you are in your own busy season, right? Like you don't need a full spa day or take a week off to care for yourself. 10 minutes can make all the difference. There you go. And I am writing this fuller, all the nitty gritty details of how you really get through the month of September. I've shared all of that, or I will be sharing all of that in my Substack inside Fave Self CEO. I have this series on my Substack called the Fave Self Files, and that's where I go deeper into the personal stories and all the little rituals I rely on and even more tips and tricks. And I will put the link to my Substack in the show notes if you want to subscribe there. But if you do, if you don't, just do something for you, right? Take care of yourself, especially if you are in the thick of it. If you are in your own gauntlet, we're just about halfway through. We can do this. I am cheering you on from afar. I'm sending big hugs your way. And as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to the Fave Self CEO podcast. Promise me you will take care of yourself this week because your fave self deserves care, especially in the busiest of seasons.